Welcome to Life on Maui. I'm your host, Stephen Freid. My guest for today is a dear friend. Richard Fiske is a gifted naturopathic doctor and psychotherapist who has developed a new form of homeopathic medicine which helps individuals transform limiting mental and emotional patterns. This is great stuff, and pay attention, this is great. So, welcome to the show, Richard.
Hey, Steve, thank you. It's great to be here.
Great to be here. We've been talking about this. We get together on the beach, and we're old friends. We've been talking about this moment for a year or two, so here we are.
I know. It's great to be here.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Wonderful. So, your background for many years has been in natural healing and psychology. What is your background?
Well, my background, Steve, is in the late 70s. Actually, I got really interested in natural healing and decided that I wanted to make it my profession. So I then pursued naturopathic studies to become a naturopathic doctor, and throughout the 1980s, I worked with homeopathic medicine, herbal medicine, nutrition, and some other forms of natural healing to help people with different physical and mental emotional ailments. And towards the late 80s, I decided that I really wanted to focus more on mental emotional issues. And the reason for that is because I was having mental emotional issues. And
really?
Even though
you were?
Yeah, a little bit.
Oh my goodness, okay.
And I got to see that as I was treating people physically, that while sometimes they were getting better, there were still a lot of things that weren't getting better, and it was because of deep mental emotional stress. And so as I was working on myself, I decided I wanted to go much deeper into that. And the deeper I got, the more I saw that, wow, this is really what I want to do with people. So in the late 80s, I went to a very advanced program, a transformational psychotherapy program in Santa Fe, and spent 3 years in those types of studies. And then ever since the early 90s, I've been really focusing on the use of homeopathy and herbs and flower essences, as well as psychotherapy to assist people to address deep mental and emotional patterns in their lives.
One of the things you work with is Bach remedies. What are constitutional Bach remedies, and how do they work?
Well, a constitutional Bach remedy would have to do with finding the essences that address the very core issues that each individual experiences, like fear and anxiety. There are many people who suffer from chronic fear and anxiety. And so a constitutional Bach flower would be one that for them addresses that. And it's part of the skill of the practitioner to figure that out with the individual so they can take that essence and start to work on that pattern within their being.
Well, obviously fear and anxiety take different forms. So I guess a part of what you do is you fine-tune it. I mean, obviously for some people it shows up as sleep pattern, eating pattern. I mean, there can be a lot of different aspects.
Absolutely. There are a lot of symptoms that come from mental emotional patterns. The thing that I work with and look for when I'm working with someone is to get beneath the symptom, to really get to the core of what are you feeling underneath that? What are your deepest feelings? What really, in a way, motivates and hampers your life? So they might be having sleep disturbance or difficulty speaking in front of people. These are symptoms. But then when I go deeper with them and ask them what's really going on, I see that they're suffering with fear. And so what is treated then is the fear. And we don't worry so much about the sleep disturbance. But in taking these remedies, if the sleep disturbance begins to disappear, then you know that that deep anxiety and fear is being addressed.
Okay, so that's a real indicator.
Yeah.
Well, this is a wonderful balance. So, your background in psychotherapy, your background in natural medicine, and you've developed a new use of the Bach flower remedies that are called the Bach do you call the Bach homeochords?
I coined that phrase, and the reason for that is...
Yeah, how did you come about creating them?
Well, in my studies of constitutional homeopathy, when you take a remedy, a homeopathic medicine, and homeopathic medicines can have different potencies. And if you combine several potencies of the same remedy in homeopathy, that's called a homeochord. And so what I did with the Bach remedies was and is that I potentize single Bach remedies in many different potencies, or another term would be frequencies, and I combine them all in one bottle, and so hence it's a Bach homeochord. And my reason for doing that is that our mental emotional patterns and conditioning and identities and fixations that exist within our psyche, within our consciousness, exist on different levels within our consciousness, within our energy fields. And so by combining the different frequencies, what I see when people take these remedies, and what I've seen when I take them, is that it has the ability to address the different levels that live within us. And hence my inspiration, because I saw that the Bach flowers were very effective, but there were some places it wasn't reaching. And so combining that with homeopathic potentization, I was able to see that these remedies could be expanded and reach into these different levels of our consciousness. So very exciting for me to be able to assist someone to address it in these deep ways.
Oh, this is fantastic. How do you ascertain that? Is it just by a conversation with someone? How do you ascertain exactly? It sounds like, you know, this wonderful thing where you find this balance of exactly what potentization to put in and how to balance it. Is this all in a conversation with someone? Is that how it transpires?
Well, the actual balancing of the remedies is done ahead of time, but the important thing when I'm sitting with someone is to assist them to go deep within themselves to express their deepest mental emotional patterns, what they're feeling, really to go with what they're feeling. And so what I engage with them is my understanding of really giving them the space to reflect upon what they're going through as a human being and where they feel deeply challenged. And so my main thing is to ask them pointed questions and then to really listen and know that their consciousness is going to bring forth what they need to work on in that moment, and I trust that.
Well, one thing I can definitely say about this man here is you are an amazing listener. You know, I've experienced that with you as a friend, and also in context of watching you work with people, listen to people. You really listen deeply. So that's a wonderful quality, and I think it really benefits you and benefits the people who come to you.
Yeah, it's so crucial, because the one thing about doing this type of medicine is that I don't want to put my ideas on the situation. I don't want to project what I think they need. I would much rather support them to elicit and bring it out of their own being, out of their own psyche, because then I know it's coming from them. And I trust that what they're ready to address in their lives will come forward. And because I know these remedies so well, when I hear the different experiences that are happening, then I know the different medicines and which ones apply to the situation. And so for me, it's an experience of meeting that person as an individual and really hearing what their soul, what their consciousness is calling for, what it wants to heal and transform in their lives in this moment.
Wow.